What's up? My name is Kamal, and today we're just going to make a quick video of installing the Bell Raceworks rear diff brace on my 2004 350Z. So when you order this, it comes with the brace obviously, and then these two bolts, which are 17 millimeters. These two are what replaces two of the bolts that hold the rear cover onto your diff, and they're going to go right here. And then we have this one that's a 19 millimeter that has a sleeve, and this nut, that's the part that's going to go through the rear subframe that holds it up here. So this stuff, it doesn't come with any instructions or anything, but we do know the tightening torque of the bolts that go to the rear cover of the diff. So all these bolts that have this yellow, obviously holding the rear cover on, there's some up there as well. So the tightening torque for all those bolts that hold the cover on are 39 to 49 Newton meters or 29 to 36 foot-pounds. And then here's the location where that third bolt will go with the nut that hold it on the other side. So yeah, these two that are going to go to the rear cover of the diff, obviously we'll just torque them to spec. But this one, you just kind of have to do it by feel, or we can go a little more or the same as the spec. It's the same grade bolt. Only thing is, the threads are a little bit larger, so you think maybe you can go a little tighter. The only thing though is, the subframe, it is aluminum, so you don't want to go so tight that you actually kind of start bending in the subframe, which I don't think would happen, but I guess what we're going to do is when we put this on, we'll torque these two bolts that go to the rear cover to spec, and then this one will also torque it to the same, and we'll see how we feel after we do that. So we'll start by just removing these two bolts right here, which are a 14 millimeter, because this is where it's going to mount up. So you orientate this with the washer on this end, stick this through, and then you can stick the sleeve on. And then we can put this all through here. And then just, you have the other washer and nut that we'll put on the opposite side. Before fully tightening everything down, I did just want to point out, I do have all this hand tight. I did start tightening this bottom one. I just wanted to point out there is a small gap when you have this, it's not moving. There is a little gap here too, but this is all pretty snug now. But I think as we torque these down to spec, it will close these little gaps that you have here. So when I did have everything hand tight, and you might notice this as well, there might be just a little bit of a gap there. But we'll see how it looks once I torque everything down. So the camera actually was overheating because it's pretty hot out here, so I didn't catch actually torquing them down, but I just torqued these to the max spec. So I did 49 Newton meters, and you can see that these those gaps I was talking about, after you torque this down, they close up. So obviously, before torquing these, you just have everything in, just hand tight everything so this is in the right position. My torque wrench was able to fit in here. If yours is a little larger and you can't fit it in this space, you can use an extension and get it this way as well. And then for this one, I torqued it to 49 as well, but it just didn't feel that tight because the threads and everything on this are a lot larger. So this nut in here for the rear study or diff is, I think 100 to 120 Newton meters is the spec. Obviously I didn't tighten this one that much. So I set my torque wrench to 69 Newton meters and torqued it to that, and that felt a little more snug. So that's 50 foot-pounds. And then I just went back to these, retorqued them, make sure everything was good. And now this thing is definitely solid on here. So yeah, torqued these to 49 Newton meters, torqued this to 69 Newton meters. And I had to use a wrench on this side. Thanks for watching. I'm excited to finally get this thing on the car. If you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps us out. And yeah, just thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. All right, so it's about 3 weeks after finishing that install. I've been driving the Z a lot, actually. It's just been fun to drive. As far as the product, the Bell Raceworks diff brace looks great, and the diff brace in conjunction with the solid differential bushings that I installed not too long ago really does make the car feel a lot better, a lot different than back when I just had this OEM diff bushings. Yeah, so the car just feels really good to drive. I just had like this realization after the install, thinking about something that I just wanted to point out. Earlier in the video, I talked about how the subframe is aluminum and how if you go too tight on that top bolt out of the 3 that hold the diff brace on, with the subframe being aluminum, you could kind of crush it in if you tighten it down too much. But the thing that I kind of realized after the fact is there's that little steel sleeve that you put everything kind of sandwiches, I guess, around that, because you put the bolt through that little steel sleeve. And with that being in the middle of the subframe, when you're tightening everything down from both sides, I think the point of that steel sleeve is to prevent it from actually crushing in, like I mentioned earlier in the video. So just wanted to point that out so nobody like under tightened that bolt, because I think you can go tighter on it even than I did in the video, and you'd still be good, because that's the point of that little sleeve in there. So I just wanted to point that out. I mean, you don't have to go crazy tight, too tight on it, but yeah, like I said, I just didn't want anybody under tightening that bolt. I haven't tightened it more than I did originally. Everything still looks great. Thanks again to everyone for watching, and hope this was helpful for anybody thinking about doing this diff brace, which I do recommend it, or just trying to get some help on their install. So thanks again, and I'll see you later. Peace.